So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this talk. We hope that we could navigate year 2022 with a positive mindset, because I think you realize that the world around us is changing, right? And it changed very fast. And some of the things that we will never expect to happen, and it happens. Okay. So, let's do a little bit of a polling. Okay, this is the content that I've prepared for y'all for today's talk. Number one is that we will go through and we will recap the happenings in 2020, 2021. Why I choose 2020, I will tell you later why I choose, okay, from 2020 onwards, and why not 2019 or 2018 or whatsoever. And also, we shall look at the era of opportunity, because we are transitioning into a new era. How do we know? So I'm going to show you some astronomical proof. Astronomical, not astrology. That means real scientific proof. Because I think most of you know I come from an engineering background. So everything has to be quite scientific in order for me to believe in something. This is something that I would like to share with you on the planetary changes and all this. After that, we shall look at the year 2022, the outlook of it. And next is also life by design. How do we, navigate the challenges we have, and how do we design life that we want? What are the controllable and uncontrollable energy fields? And then how do we, tap on those that we can control, and how do we make use of what that is not uncontrollable energy that comes to us? I will explain about that. Okay, and then lastly, we will, I will give you some power dates. Power dates for you to do, to ask for forgiveness from the heaven, and also to cleanse yourself, and even to activate your house using some kind, activate the energy of the house. So let me do a poll, a very quick poll. How many of you are impacted by the changes since 2020, such as COVID-19? COVID-19 is just one of the change. Actually, there are other things that changes around us also. Later on, we will look at it. So, okay, if you are impacted very much, like a major change that you need to change your job, need to change, or need to pivot to something new. Like me, I used to work in the corporate world, and now I have to leave the corporate world. So I will choose A. I think most of you knows that I have left the corporate world after 30 years in it. And then also some will be minor adjustment, like you work for a company, but you will need to work from home now. So it's also a change, right? We will need to work from home. And C is no change at all. So let me just check. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that almost everyone here is impacted some way or other by this COVID-19 and the change itself. Very few people. I did another talk also with another groups. I think about 80% of them that they are change A or B, because they are working people. Some of them, they are like housewives. So to them, is maybe there's also a change if you're a housewife. Don't you think so? Because your kids now are working at home, studying at home, and you have to cook more for them. Right? You have to serve them more for housewife. I think so also. Like my kids also, like now she's, I'm staying at home, working at home and everything. And I have to, find food for her to eat every now and then. Roughly, I think most of you knows that I work in the corporate world, and I have been, to multiple industries for 30 years. So, and my position progresses from an engineer to a management position before I left the corporate world in 2020 due to also COVID as well. So it really hits me quite hard in a way, because every month I have a fixed salary, and throughout my years, I'm very fortunate that I've worked with, suppliers and all these like big names, like international names like Samsung, Toshiba, Sanyo, Panasonic, and all this. I manage them as suppliers, and some I also work with them closely in the company as well. Okay, so after I've left the corporate world, now I'm a book author, okay, and also a corporate trainer. I also train people in the corporate world as well. I sort of package my courses like critical thinking, problem solving, and all this, because in the corporate world, I have to solve a lot of problem. I think some of y'all was in the Casey Lau's talk when I talk about, problem solving. It's a necessity skills everywhere, and it's an evergreen skills, inclusive of critical thinking. So this is why I'm teaching the corporate. I'm in the corporate. So some of the students, some of the corporate that I teach is Intel, and also some other companies as well. And I'm also a Udemy instructor. I sort of package my course, what I know in my past 30 years as a Udemy instructor, and also a consultant. So I'm like a life coach, a consultant, a problem solver for other people using all the skills I know. And one of them is Chinese metaphysics. Because I don't use Chinese metaphysics blindly. I have my own skills, my own knowledge, and I just use Chinese metaphysics, which I acquire as a booster to help other people as well. Sometimes we will need to look further, to have further insights. This is when I use the skills as well, or these skills that I've acquired for over 10 years to help people. So I'm helping, I hope to help people to solve their problems and then pivot also to the next level in their life. I've written 4 books so far. Some, most of them is related to my skills. And also one is a corporate world and beyond that, to share with other people that, beyond the corporate world, there's still another world that you can use. And my area of expertise is problem solving, and also manufacturing quality career strategies, like, helping people in their career as well, and using some of the tools that I've using, like Chinese metaphysics tools, which I have also used during my corporate days, like hiring and all this. I look into, to forecast whether the candidate is good for hiring and all this, to help me, to gain more time. At least I will save time. I don't have to go through so many candidates. I will know that which candidate that I hired will be a good one. This is one of the example how I use metaphysics in the corporate world. So yeah, let's go to, a little bit about the recap of 2020. So don't you think that we have a lot of strange events start happening since year 2020, okay, such as COVID, the most prominent one. And if you are in linking, you will realize that a lot of women now become leader. They are very prominent now. They take the top position that formerly was, was dominated by men in the corporate world. And there are also more and more women entrepreneurs in these few years. Okay. And also the world has become like more of a connected workplace. Like social media is now the main thing. Right. Everyone is in social media, especially when you want to be visible. So this is the event which is happening, and everything, and it connected us to everywhere else. And our work, if you're in social media, you can reach to a lot of people. And it becomes very fast-paced now, the world. So why is this happening? We look at our solar system. This is where I tell you that we will need to have some proof. Even in Chinese metaphysics also, it's actually based on the solar system only. It's nothing more than a solar system. Just connect it back to the solar system, the 5 elements and all these things. I will tell you how it is connected back to the solar system itself. So the 20 years, the changes since 2020 is because of the Jupiter and Saturn are conjuring all together. Okay, so these two are the biggest planet in the universe. And all these planets, all these things when they stay in their field, in their orbits, means that there's some kind of a force, some kinds of energy that, that let them stay on the orbit, on the course one. And when they are conjuring together with the Earth, then they will have an impact already, because the two very big planets and the energy field is very great when the two are being together, so they will have an impact on the Earth. Okay, this type of conjunction where the Jupiter and the Saturn meets together will be every 20 years. That's why in Chinese metaphysics, every 20 years, there is a period of change. Let's look at the past history. I never start from 1940s. So in 1940s, there's World War II, right? is a change also, some kind of change. In the 60s, there's Cold War, there's Vietnam War, and all these things, that major changes that happen. And then in the 80s, AIDS start to come in. AIDS, okay? So it's also something new. And then in year 2000 is SARS, okay? So this is all the changes. And this time, the conjunction is very, very special because it's the nearest in the 800 years. That means that these two planets meet together and they are the nearest in the 800 years. That's why the changes is even more major than any other 20 years before. With all these changes, it definitely affect everyone's, okay? So in terms of macro level, I think the whole human race are actually at war with the virus now. Don't you think so? That we are, we are like at war with them, like waiting the mutation and all this comes in, and we hope, every time we find a booster, we find like a vaccine, we have to rebooster ourselves again because of all these new variants coming in, like Omicron recently and all this. So that's why we are really at the war for these few years. And individually, it also changed us because I see a lot of B here. We have to work from home, number one. And then when you work from home, it's like, sometimes everyone will cram into one place. So it will become like emotional state. Maybe sometimes if you have husband and wife, they are, rushing for the Wi-Fi, broadband and all this thing. As student, I'm studying at home as well. So it will impact definitely some kind of emotional state. And the physical home space is also getting smaller because more and more people cram into it. And some, if they are staying with the in-laws, also will have a kind of slightly sort of a problem because every time early in the morning you go out to work and then only late in the evening you come back, so you seldom see them, so it's still okay. But now you have to sort of being with them under the same roof for 24 hours is maybe it's a little bit challenging and at the same time we have to learn new skills, new technology to adapt to these changes, right? So with all these changes, let's look at an era of opportunity. So just now I talked about the Earth cycle transition, like, every 20 years there's a change. So I just look at the recent 20 years because just now I walk back as far as, 1940s, 1960s, 1980s to year 2000. So year 2000, you will see that there's also a change actually, but the change is slightly minor. Okay, the impact's not that great, so that it is still like a smooth transition over. So you can see that young men starts to come out at that time. A lot of young entrepreneurs, especially men like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. This is Michael Dell. I used to work for Dell, and then also Mike Zuckerberg. All these people, they come out at the time. And 80s was year 2000 was actually the last 20 years was really a good year for everyone. It's like a stable like mountain. Because that period, the elements that govern that period is also a stable mountain. Okay, so there will be wealth, will be financial boom, and all these things because it also represent cash and knowledge, power. Everyone is looking for knowledge. So this is the period 8 till 2020s. Officially, actually, we will transition into the period 9 at 2024. But it's just that the Great Conjunction already happened, I think, last 2 years. That means because they are very big planets, they will start meeting with each other already. So this is already a transition period. That means the transitioning is happening. And then after that, 2024, then we are officially stepping into the period 9 already. Okay, so in period 9, the elements that govern the period 9 is no more a stable mountain. It's actually fire. It's a flickering fire period. So it's also a period of women, especially middle-aged women. Okay, you can see a lot of middle-aged women comes into power, like Kamala Harris, and this is GM's president, CEO. I think this is the first time in history of a very traditional American company to have a women leader. And Sarah Berkeley is also one of the young women entrepreneur that coming up. And Kamala Harris, that people predicted that she will become the president of US, okay? And this is Angela Merkel, the German chancellor. Okay, so all this, and then what is important in period 9, which you have to prepare yourself, is social media, technology skills. We will have a lot of virtual reality and all these things. And then now we are under the COVID-19 attack. And also the online world will be very prominent also in period 9. Okay. So the current employment situation is the last 50 years is always a stable employment. We will have like employment for life. And when you go into a company, you will expect, to work for that company at least for a long, long time, maybe some even for life. Like in Japanese company, I know some of my Japanese friends, they will work for life, okay? But in recent years, you will see the employment, company are downsizing. It's just employment for needs already. So those that are, gigs and all this become more important, like hustling and all this will become more important, okay? So it's no more like, it's no more employment employment for life. It's because for those that in the corporate world, it will definitely have an impact. As I said, everything moves very fast. No more, employment. And then traditional jobs such as those finance and all this, they will start to change. And AIs will take over some of the work. So it will be very good because AI is also built by human. So the skills that are very useful will be, AI related kind of skills already. Like those AI related, those that can think critically to resolve problems, because all these things are also created by humans. So instead of just mundane job, it will be towards the creation job. And some businesses are closed, they reduce workforce. And then also some business also, they learn how to scale efficiently as well. So they do not need so many, workers. But however, when one opportunity closes, one door closes, another door will open. So definitely the next era will be more on AI, on virtual reality, on internet marketing, digital marketing, all these things, even in beauty industries as well. So all this will be coming up. And how do we tap into this opportunity? Basically using our life energy. First of all, in period 9, in a fire period, people will become more aware. They also become more spiritual because fire also represents spiritual. So there will be, you can see that more and more of these spiritual gurus coming up. Okay, so it will be like self-reflection, manifestation. And also in heaven luck is your own birth charts. Those that were born with fire, generally those that charts are birth charts and fire in their charts will be definitely in line with that period. So it will be slightly better. They can see opportunity better in a way. Okay, so this is the general case. And then you can also tap into the feng shui part where south, because fire also is actually the south side of the home. So the south part of the home becomes very important. So make sure that it's clean and have good energy flow, your south, sector of your house. Okay. So for men, I have a few slides for you to refer to next, what to do next. Okay. First of all, people become more aware of themselves. That means you also have to understand yourself better. Okay? Understand your skill, your personality better, understand your superpower better so that you know how to tap into the opportunity that present itself in the period 9. Learning is also important now because we will need a lot of skills to navigate through period 9. And then also self-branding, because like fire, you want people to notice you. That is very important, especially in the corporate world. You want people to notice you. Some of y'all have learned like Bazi before. A lot of people will like those direct resources direct officer and direct wealth in the chart to be, good in the corporate world. But now it will be slightly different. It has overturned, like, those that with hurting officer that can talk very well, maybe will have, more visibility in the corporate world now. You will need to know your super talent. I think most of you already know, because I see that most of you all here, I either have done a reading for you all before, or either, through the KC Last platform, I have already given you all some kind of a short, consult of yourself as well. Okay, so you must have, clarity on your superstar talent to tap into that power, so you become the best version of yourself in order to be visible and nurture these skills to the maximum. So how do you know the superstar talent? One of the ways it could be through, these tests, personality tests, like Myers-Briggs, or you can also do a life energy reading or the birth chart reading. So later I will show you why the birth chart reading is very important, and what's the, what is the really the theory behind it more scientifically. Okay. And secondly, you have to learn, to change with the world. Continue to enhance learning, continue to learn skills that the world needs. That's very important. And also, continuous learning if you're in professional world, lifelong learning to enhance skills of your own interest. Like my interest is Chinese metaphysics, so I used to do a lifelong learning on that. Actually, it's more than Chinese metaphysics, anything that's spiritual that I like to learn about it. Okay, so and nowadays information is actually everywhere. You can have a lot of affordable platforms like YouTube and all these things. It's also very useful to get information now. But it's just that you have to learn how to focus what information that you want. Unlike 20 years ago, where it's difficult to get information. Okay? Yeah. Last is that the 3 tips are, the last one is brand and show. So you must prepare to take risks in your job itself. There will be up and down your career, definitely already. So, and also you must show management your value in order for you to sustain yourself in the corporate world. And that self-branding is also important now. How to self-brand yourself. What is your skill? That's why if you know your superpower, then you can self-brand yourself very well. Okay, let's go into the year 2022 outlook, because it's also very important, because year 2022 is also part of the transition year. And we shall go into, people call it parts, but I call it life energy will be better, because it's actually a kind of energy. So in fact, I told you just now that we have a solar system, and our our energy field actually are governed by all these elements. And in the ancient days, they can see all the 5 planets, and they have studied the patterns of all these planets. I think more than 5,000 years ago in ancient China. Okay, so what happens is they study that the Mercury brings with it the energy of water, means represent wisdom. And from there, they derive even the date, which is the 8 characters of our birth charts. And then Venus carries with it the meta energy, which is about execution. Okay. And then fire is Mars. And also Saturn is Earth. And Jupiter is actually wood. So Jupiter is the biggest planet in the universe. Therefore, every year also we have like sort of Duke of Jupiter or the Tai Sui, because this one has the biggest impact on the energy field, because this is the biggest planet. That's why that is where the Duke of Jupiter comes in. But in the ancient days, they would just represent it with a type of god, for every year, every year. And then if the Jupiter happens to fall into one of the astrology sign, the 12 animal signs, this year is fall into the Tiger Palace. So those in the Tiger year will be the leader, and also will have quite a challenging year. You can refer to my YouTube channel later on when I talk about the 12 animal signs. So these are all the things, all the 5 planets, and they call it 5 elements. Or in Chinese, they call it 五行, 五行 in Chinese. Okay, so this is just a planetary energy that is governing us, those 5 energies. Okay, and those 5 energies, those water elements, all these are actually also is a type of energy with different frequency. As I said, in ancient days, people studied the movement of the planets. And from there, they will record the planets, the movement of the planets or the time itself, how they move into an energy chart, which we ourselves name it as 八字. This is the ancient days when they study the movement of the planets. So in the year, we have a year. Sorry, I was wrong. Okay, so in the year, we have one energy pattern. These are divided actually into heavenly stem and earthly branch. Okay, so in the year, this year is actually, we have not go into the tiger year. This year is ox year, and it's a metal ox year. So the branch, so the pattern, the energy pattern will be metal and also earth, because in ox, the main energy inside the ox animal is actually earth. But they did not name it as earth, or they just name it as ox in the olden days, so that it's easier for people to remember, like, first red, second ichu jigu saho, all this, people use it in this way. Okay, so, and also mana is also divided into the 12 animal signs, and with the energy of the 5 elements as well. In December 26, 2021, 2 p.m. This is the energy pattern of this. Of this one. So in December month is actually a red month, and that red month is actually a metal red itself. It's also a month energy pattern, and the day energy pattern, which is 26, is actually an earth day with the monkey. Okay, is an earth monkey day, and the hour is also earth, heavenly stem, and earth, and way is also an earth. So this is the whole configuration or the whole energy for that day. And if let's say a baby that is born at this moment, they will absorb the energy at that moment to program them. Okay, the first breath they take, that means they're taking in the energy of that moment. Then this becomes the baby's Bazi chart already. So every 2 hours, this will change. So every time I think you hear Datuk Joey says, oh, metal, ox, man, these are all actually, you look at it, all these 5 elements as energy. So we will have the 5 element energy with us. The whole Chinese metaphysics is actually based on the 5 elements itself. Even Chinese medicine is also based on the 5 energy itself. So when you calculate, as I told you just now, how to calculate the energy using time, day, month, year. So these are the 4 pillars, so we call it the 4 pillars, and they will govern a different aspect of our life. The year pillar will govern the social aspect. The month pillar will govern the career and the wealth. The day pillar is ourself, our reference, our day masters, the day that we are born, what we are. Okay, so our internal energy, but not necessarily we will exhibit. Let's say we're born in our day master is trees, is a jiak wood. Not necessarily we are jiak wood one, because we have other elements inside our chart to influence our character, and all these will influence all our character internally in our chart, and also externally. There will be yearly energy. Our they call it luck pillar, will impact the journey in our life, how we interact with them. So this one, journey and also day and also the year pillar is how we use to forecast roughly, what are the events that will come to you, and internally this will be the character. You know that Chinese is always yin and yang. Is a type of philosophy actually. Yin that means everything that is good is not absolute good one. There will be one black dot of something that's bad to balance out. And everything bad, not necessarily everything is bad. There will be one white dot. This is the wisdom of the of this Tai Chi, what they call Tai Chi, the Tao itself. So all these elements, all these energies were also divided into yin and yang. Okay, so like I said, the earth, we have mountain earth, we have, the soil, the G earth. The water will have, the cloud water, the sea water. So there will be 10 day masters, that means 10 types of people that are born, but the configuration will be a lot because of the month, of the year, of the hours that comes in. So if you times by so many things, and summer, heaven and earth, so there will be over 1,000. The other day I counted about 54,000 permutations of this configuration. That means there will be 54,000 types of people. In our energy itself, as I say, if you have, a dominance, because those charts are based on base energy itself and also based on your dominant energy. When it comes to you, how will interact with the year, it will sort of, let you, have a feel of what the year is already. So that is why it's also very important that we know all these things, all these things, the logic behind it. Let's do an interaction. I would like to know, all of you should know your day masters, right? Can you, don't mind you type in, your day master, is it wood, fire, earth, matter, water? I would like to see, today we have how many type of day masters that comes into my, into this talk. If don't know one, please PM me. I will let you know what you are, okay? Must know one, this one, at least you know your base energy, then you will know that, next year if water comes to me, it is my what? Later on, I will show you why is it so important to know your base energy. Your day masters, or I call it a base energy. I like the term energy better because these are all energy. In order to know what is the outlook of year 2020, we will need to look at our energy chart. Oh, Chiwei also forgotten. I also forgotten yours. You need to, you need to go back to the reading I made for you. Let's look at the year 2020's energy chart. This is, how do we determine a year's energy chart? I'm sure you all have heard of Li Chun, right? Arrival of spring. Have you heard of it? Yes, no? Li Chun, every year that people say that, can go and deposit money one. Everyone knows or not, the arrival of spring and the eggs will stand, will stand itself, will stand by itself right on the other end, or I don't know how. Okay, yeah, this is the Chinese solar calendar of you officially changing the animal sign of the year. Okay, so Chinese is very confusing. We have two types of calendar. One is solar, one is lunar. Lunar is the first moon and the 15th moon one. Okay, so maybe later I will show you how to tap into the moon, the power of the moon. Once I'm free, I will give another talk if you are interested in how to tap into the power of the moon. And help me to, invite your friends here also. And you can do some cleansing using the moon water and all these things. I will show you how to do it. We will officially be in the Tiger year on February 4th, I think 4:52 or 4:53 a.m. You all want exact one, go and refer to Datuk Joey Yap also. He is very precise. I know it's about 52, 53 because I cannot remember exactly the figure. So we will officially step into this. That means this will be the energy chart. The month, the year, the month will always be in Ren Yin year because every time Li Chun is a Tiger month one. That's why education is very important because trees, wood represents growth. Okay, so forever education will be important one because we always have a new spring in a wood season, in a spring season, which is a prominent of wood. Okay, so it's also a water. It's actually a water. These two pillars are the same. We call it like Fuyina, but it has a meaning to it. Okay. And then here we have, the day master, the base energy for this year is mountain, is a mountain and water. And also the wood itself again appear in the hour chart. What y'all can see here, what's the dominant energy here? Can someone tell me? Yes. Yeah, that's right. All the woods, the water
Wood, yeah.
also.
Wood and water.
Yeah, that's right. So the dominant energy here is actually is a wood and also is water already. That means the whole we have this type of energy comes to us and it will affect us differently. Depends on our own energy pattern. So elements is actually quite imbalanced. You can see that there's no matter at all. I think inside the yin, we don't count about the hidden stems because a lot of people they like hidden stems, but we just look at the big picture only, okay, for the time being. So it could be, this type of imbalanced chart, it could be extremely good for someone, and it could also be like extremely bad for other people. Okay, so it depends on how your chart react to this energy, your own energy pattern react to this energy. Okay, so yeah. So from the chart itself, always I like to derive. Last time my prediction was not very accurate, but now I think it's as I go deeper into this, so it gets improved. I have just written a reflection on year 2021, what I've predicted and what happens for the year in the general big picture from the politics side, from the economic side. Most of it that it begins to come true. Okay, it happens in year 2021. Then I will do the year 2022 one also in my website also. Looking at the situation, we will still need to manage from home, okay, because the day is sitting inside is also a wealth element. So that means the money is made still from home. Then although the money is everywhere on the branch, later I will explain. Then expected the COVID situation will continue, maybe till July if this one, because actually Omicron is a very strange virus. It is a very strange variant. It has not so much impact, at least not so severe impact for those already vaccinated. Okay, but it spreads very fast. Once it spread very fast and don't have very big impact, means that our system itself could also build immune system already. In a way, it also encourages a herd immunity, if you know what is herd immunity. And then we look at the general population will also be encountered in a way. And then the surface looks good. Okay, because of like a Fuyin China, this is like a Fuyin, this one like surface looks good. But there will be challenges by itself. I think if you have attended Dato's Strive event also, he also says about the Mother Earth Oracle and predicted the year, and I think the chart also showed this pattern itself. But he goes deeper into it. I'm not his level, okay? So the industry that do well based on the element, the prominent element I can see here is that software is because we are transitioning into the fire period, and a lot of woods will create a lot of fires. The health industries, the technology, spirituals, logistics, and education. Because education, the wood is still there. Logistics, because the water is also quite strong. Okay. General population being counter means that people's life, a general citizen will have a slightly more, challenging life this year. That's what it means. The outlook of it looks like it. Okay, so the general population, but as long as we know, what's coming to us, and then we are aware of it, I'm sure, it will be also a good year to us. How we use it, that's all only. Okay. So the positive mindset. This is why I say that we have to navigate year 2022 with positive mindset. So this is actually the 3 years chart. Since year 2020, COVID started. So you can see most of it is like think fire. Actually, if fire, whatever you control is the wealth element. So here is the metal, is the wealth itself. So it's actually inside. So it means that it's internal. That means something that you have to stay at home on. Okay. And also in 2021 is rainwater. This is also the fire. Water controls fire. This is the wealth element also at home on. If you look at this here, mountain controls water. Water also, this is also a wealth element. It's also still inside although you have water here already here, but it's actually everywhere. It looks like, it looks good. That's why I say on the surface looks good, but it's not really, grounded by itself. So that's why it's going to be, still quite a challenging year in a way. Just now, I have already asked y'all that, I think most of y'all know what your element is, and your base energy, your element is, okay? Generally, just generally in it, we just look at the heaven stem itself, just to make things simple. That, the year energy itself is a lot of water, and the heaven stem is water. So water will comes to you and will impact you. Those that under wood, those who are born as base energy or the day masters, the day energy, your base energy is wood one. That means the water is a resources to you. That means this year you can do learning. Okay, but it will be a slow year to you as well, because resource also means that slow, okay, in a way. And relax also. Slow means relax, rest also. Okay. And then those who are the fire day masters, the fire people. So it will comes as an influence. That means it will, sort of control you. Either you have more system, or maybe you can be more courageous also this year, like 7K, I could be more courageous. Then those who is a wealth day masters, it will, the wealth comes to you. But however, you have to be careful. Because wealth comes to you, that doesn't mean that you will get wealth, because it will depend on your configuration, whether you are able to protect that wealth or not in your own energy or not. Sometimes you will even lose more money. Because some people, they thought that they have just some basic understanding. They thought that if wealth come to them, this year I will go out and just simply invest. No such thing. It probably you will lose even more money in this way, because your money is exposed. It's easy for you to take, but it's easy for other people to take also. So this one very careful. And also, if those metal person, those who have metal one, not many people metal here. You will, you will have output because metal create waters. So you will definitely, start to do a lot of work to see, very productive this year. Okay, maybe those single one, married one also, can make children in a way. Output is also children. Output star. And next one is water to water. Water to water is rock wealth. That means people will compete with you for wealth. You will have to see competition, and you will see friends also. Depends on how you take it, how your charts take it. Some charts they need people need followers, need friends then it's very good, because they people will come to them, and then they will start to get a lot of, and they can build a tribe, something like this. So that will depends on your configuration. That's why there's always, the Tai Chi itself shows that the black and white, that means there's a good two sides of the coin. There's good points, and there is also, challenging points in everything. Okay, so this is the wisdom of Tao also. Let's go through life by designer. So how do we navigate? Okay, you all understand, and then how the year, energy comes to you and all this. So as I stated just now, we actually have 4 domains of energy field. One is the universe energy. This one, I show you the life energy is our birth chart energy. This is something that we cannot control. Okay, and earth energy is from the environment, like feng shui and all these are earth energy. Even you want to declutter your home, if you find that your home has too many things you want to declutter. Nowadays, people like danshari, or danshari decluttering. It's also actually moving the chi in your house, but you have to move it in the right day, in the right direction, in the right sector, to get the maximum benefit of it. That's why after, the Japanese, they like it, the mini minis of it. Okay. And also the man itself, which I talk a lot just now, is our free will. The options that's presented to us that we choose, and the decision that we make, and also our own personal development. How how do you aware of your own energy level, where we are? Okay, if you're upward and thriving, you will find that, everything goes well. Okay, everything comes into your way, it goes well, smooth, you have a smooth year and all this is, so this is the year, please do not just sit down and enjoy. This is the year that you will need to work very hard to, capture that opportunity. Very important, because most of the people, they have that cycle. Oh, everything good now. I will start to enjoy, start to spend money and all this. Not this way. In fact, it's the other way around. You should, put in more effort to cash in. If you're in the downward now, sometimes the year it's not very good now. Everything is not very smooth. So we have to stay quiet. The best thing is do self-reflection so that we don't make bad decisions. If we do not know how to make decisions, don't make. Okay, for some decision you can choose not to make. Like some investment, you can choose not to go in. Learn more to prepare, because if you have the skills and you have the knowledge, generally your critical thinking will be better, so you can make better decisions. Then you connect with people that has positive vibes to help you. Or lastly, on the drastic side, I think most of the Chinese metaphysics practitioner or masters, they like to recommend is that you change your environment. Okay, that means move house, move the environment. Yeah, using the earth energy. Just now we talk about this. I have already told you that the domain that we can control, and also we cannot control itself. So those uncontrollable are actually our birth chart. Maybe universe energy you can still control, because you can learn how to tap on it, like your deities and all these things. This is how, when we can control some of the factors. So we will like sort of, design our life. We know ourselves, we design our life. Generally human, we have like a default setting one, because all these elements that comes into us, they have two sides. One, that is good one. For example, like 7K, give us courage, but it also we can be quite rebellious. So by default setting, we will be more rebellious. We'll follow the bad one easily. So we must be aware of our energy itself, and then we can use the good side of the energy. That's the most important thing. So this is like a life by design itself. On cases like this, if there's a chance, I will find solution that ensure that that boost the energy for anyone to get their things, because sometimes we just need a little bit of boost in order to get our goal or solve our problem. So this is how I use the tool as a booster. Let's go through the power dates.
I have prepared a list of auspicious or power dates especially for you to usher in the new year, which include self-cleansing from the negative energy, house spring cleaning date to clean your house before the Chinese New Year, the date to hang the red banner on your main door as part of the Chinese culture to usher in the Chinese New Year, and also to tap in the prosperous chi or energy from the god of wealth and nobility, which is normally done during the eve of the Chinese Lunar New Year. Besides that, I have also included in the date for start work after a long break of Chinese New Year. And lastly, this is a date where you should not miss, which you can use to activate the good feng shui energy of your house at the northeast sector for career and wealth. You can refer to the section below this video to get the link to download, or you can scan this QR code to download as well.
Activate northeast. This is the floor plan of your house. So this is the northeast sector. How do you know it is northeast? I have two ways to look at it. One is stand at the center. with a compass, the phone apps, the compass, look at northeast where it points to. Or you can look at your house on the early morning, which part of the house receive the first ray of the house. Because this one no need to be very accurate, it's the whole sector. So I can do it in this way. But for feng shui, assessment cannot, has to be very accurate. So what you need to do is that the first ray of the sun, definitely this is east already. And you look at sunset also. Where there's a sunset, definitely this is west. From here, you already know which section is north, east, west, south, right? So, and what you need to do is that just use a pail with a palm of water. This one, very simple, plastic pail, put a fish palm and whatsoever. And do not activate if northeast is a bedroom. Bedroom, no activation on because this is all young energy, or else you cannot sleep. You will have a problem later on. And then toilet also no activation. Stove, it happens in your kitchen, not directly under the stove or under stove, because north is so big, shift it 3 feet away. Just be grateful. And the most important thing I would like to ask you all here is that practice gratitude with abundance of mindset. That be grateful for the simple things in your life. Be the driver, be your own driver, as I say, because you still have a lot of energy fields that you can control. Although maybe you're born with that destiny chart, means that it's not a victim mentality and that you are born with that, so you're no good. Definitely everyone has an energy in their chart. It's just a matter of making use of the energy only. That's very important. Okay, how to make use of the energy, that's all. So you be in the driver's seat and write your own story and do voluntary or charity works when you have the opportunity. Oh yes, Christine. Yeah, I have helped her to solve her career issues because she's in another level of a career already. So I have helped in doing so, in helping her in that aspect. Okay, so that she can navigate through, at a higher position. Anyone has any questions so far? Q&A. Any question that you can ask me very openly?
Evelyn?
Yes.
Okay. Just curious, how did you study metaphysics? You on your own, or did you go to any master? Like, did you study under Joey?
When I was very young, in my varsity days, when I was doing my bachelor degree that time, somebody tells me, that was about 30 years ago, I thought that was more than 30 years ago, that people look at my, my palm reading. I'm a senior, that look at my palms, do a palm reading, and she was telling me, hey girl, you will, you will have intuition or affinity towards this kind of knowledge, Chinese metaphysics knowledge. Last time we don't call Chinese metaphysics, we call it fortune telling and all these things. And I was like, ignoring her at the time, I wanted to be a professional. I go to university because last time, those 30 years ago, people doing fortune telling it's those, at the temple there outside, they have a table and then they will read your fortune. That after that, I just I continue my study, continue to work in the corporate world until I was in my 30s. Lillian too starts to come out at the time, and she was in feng shui, very much in feng shui, and she will introduce it to buy all sorts of trinkets. But somehow other, I do not know why my internal energy is attracted to it. You know why? Because I'm born in one of the 10 spiritual days. This is one of the 10 spiritual days, and I also have another spiritual pillar in my chart. This is why I have that affinity one. So I will go and listen. She comes to Dell. The time was to Dell. She comes to Dell and give talks. Not she, but her control. Because last time she was like a big star. Her staff and all this time. Then I just listen. But somehow other I feel that something's not right. Because she asks people to buy a lot of things things and to put here, put there, and this one. But somehow I get the feel of it already. I started to understand the 5 elements and started to understand the direction and all these things at that point of the time. And also I buy 1 or 2 from a shop, just to test, because I like to test, ma. And after that, after not long ago, I think about 10 years later, or maybe slightly less than that, Joe Yap comes into the picture already. He has TV program in NTV7. I follow every Sunday. And also in this one, in the radio station with Choi Ling. So I will start to listen every day and without miss one. So I learn from there. I start to have free learning and all these things, and I start to go to his event, the yearly astrology talk. Started I think in Shangri-La Hotel last time in Penang. That was 12 years ago. And he gave talks, and I find that this guy quite makes sense also. But at that time he does not know how to relate energy yet. But it's just I find that, all these 5 elements, all this makes a little bit of sense. And I start to study my own chart and all these things. But at that time, I was not at this level I am now. And I start to enroll in his classes. And I also start to read books by other masters as well. I start to buy books because English, I'm an English person. So English books are quite rare one. Only last few years ago they start to appear in Amazon or all this. So I follow one guy called Jerry King also in Joe Yap's courses. I have also spent a lot of money in Joe Yap as I go on, and I find that it really helps me. And 10 years ago, because I start to really go seriously into it. About 10 years ago, and I am glad I did that, because I know that by this time I will be sort of doing other things already. I have the energy inside me to do teaching. I can do teaching very well. So I start to volunteer in my days also. Now I'm a corporate trainer. This is how I prepare myself for the journey beyond it. And this one, and also I also learn now from another master as well, to enhance my knowledge. And also I do self-study. After they have done all these things, I will start to voluntarily help people to solve problems. I will put in all the cases in my OneNote. What's OneNote, right, in Microsoft? And then I will look at the outcome, and people will feedback to me their outcome and all this. And then I will write notes that this is how I learn. So I have all the notes, and also, from there I experiment and do a study and look at people's chart. Then I will know, if you want to be good in something, this is what you will need to do, like continuous study, from the environment, from people around you as well. And from my clients, then I start to, do consults, because all these courses are very expensive. I also need to practice. So I started to do consults and all this. My consults last time was very cheap only one, because at that time I was learning, but I'm not as good as I am today. But I'm already able to advise people, what to do, their personality and all these things, especially. And then what comes into you is that I will not, talk so much about it, because one thing, sometimes it might not manifest into reality, and you also have other realms and other energy that you can, sort of tap in to change the reality a little bit. Okay, so this is why, we never tell that, this year, you will, have very bad things happen to you. And because in a way, it's not very good, because people will keep thinking on it, and it will be in their subconscious mind and manifested into a reality, when, sometimes you can sort of change. Maybe that things happen, but it will not be as serious as it is. We cannot stop bad things from happening to us, but what we can, we can sort of respond to it and make it, have some kind of actions to minimize the impact of the bad things. This is how I look at it. And I start to use all these tools also in my own career, because I have a very challenging career that I need to solve problems. Sometimes problems that I cannot really solve already, I will, put in the achievement chart and forecast, and it becomes, like some of the things I also manage. That's why some of those top management people also quite amazed. How do you manage to get this solved? Or how do you manage to convince somebody else that, to take into this type of solution? So also, and my HR people also very surprised also when I have candidates to interview. I don't interview because sometimes 10, 20 candidates comes to you. So I can already select using the charts itself, using Chinese metaphysics prediction forecast tools. I already stream down to 5. So I didn't talk to 2, 5 or less than 5, and I already can make decision. And normally my hire is quite a good one also. So this is how I got into this, and I have already proven that I've used these tools to make my life easier.
Thank you, Evelyn. Can I have follow up? Nobody. May I follow up one more question?
Can, no problem. Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Cynthia. Sure.
Thanks for the webinar. In your blog, you had a posting on during charity work during Yin Virtue Day, and I followed that during 2021, and I really see the merits coming back to me. So my question is, how can I find what is the Yin Virtue Days for 2022?
Oh, I will post it. Don't worry. When I do perform merits in Yin Virtue Day, it's the day that you perform merits. I think I posted also in the Telegram. Those are in the Telegram. It's the day where you perform merits, but perform it quietly, because it's Yin. Yin means quiet, and you just perform it with a heart, with a heart to help out. Don't expect anything in returns. I have a blog in that also. Later I can share with you all on this one how it works. And definitely the heavens, miracles will happen. The heaven will reward those that perform this Yin virtue kind of things.
Thank you.
If you all want, you can, go into my website. I started this website when I was working in the corporate world. Because I like to write things. That's why I like to become author and all these things also. And so my YouTube channel, I just started one. So this one is on the, I started with the first video on the animal science, the 12 animal science. And the next video, I'm going to show you also that, why some of these predictions are not true, or you don't feel, because some years some seafood says that like certain years, certain animals bad, you don't feel very bad, but certain animals, they say it's very good, but you also don't feel very good. Why is it the reason behind it? What are the criteria for all these, stars to take place? So I put it in the next week, it will come out already, that video. And for those you wanted the Yin virtue and all these things, I think Cynthia is already in the Telegram group. If not, I will appreciate that y'all can, sort of join my Telegram group also, so that I can consolidate everything, every time with information I can, let y'all know. So I think if there's no further question, I think that's it for today. Maybe in the future we will have more sharing. I hope that you also can bring your friends along as well, to the talk itself, which I hope to reach more people and to benefit more people in the future on what I have and what I can bring value to others. Okay, thanks.